Welcome back, everybody. Rob from Crown of Thorns with a short video. We'll see how short. I'll try not to run too many rabbit trails, but I wanted to tell you guys about something really cool, something really nice that happened to my wife and I just a couple of days ago on Thanksgiving. I'm recording this on Saturday, November 29th, so that would have been 2 days ago. So, as most of you know, my wife and I are full-time RV. So um, it's hard for us to prepare large dinners such as Thanksgiving because the RV that we have doesn't have an oven. It just has a stovetop. So to make a turkey or whatever else is next to impossible. All right. Plus, it's just the two of us. Um, we don't have family or anything down here. We do have friends down here, but they already have their own families and plans for Thanksgiving. Anyway, so it's easier for us to just go out for dinner. And that's what we've done the past few Thanksgivings. Is just go out for dinner someplace. So we were going to go to Chinese this year, um, because we thought, well, that's something different, and uh, we both just had like a hankering, as I like to say, for Chinese food. And as most of you know, we're on the carnivore diet, so we have to be very mindful of what we eat. So even if we're eating meat, you're not supposed to eat anything that has like a sauce, barbecue sauce, or ketchup, anything like that on it. So when you go out to eat, it can be tricky. It can be hard. We try to find like barbecues and smokehouses and things like that. Anyway, so we thought, well, it's Thanksgiving. We're going to allow ourselves to cheat a little bit. We'll go have Chinese, and that way there we can have all the different types of chicken that they provide, and we'll have our salad and a couple of desserts because it's Thanksgiving. We're going to cheat a little bit. Well, we found out day of that the Chinese place isn't open on Thanksgiving. We thought they would be, but they were not. So our backup then was to go to Golden Corral, which is where we've gone for the past two Thanksgivings. And so we're like, okay, we'll just fall back on what we usually do. We'll just go to Golden Corral. So we made the trip to Pensacola. And when we got there, it's really, really busy on Thanksgiving Day at Golden Corral. Every year that we've gone there, it's been busy, so busy that there's a line outside the restaurant. So we find a parking spot. It took us forever, but we found a parking spot, and we go and get in line. And fortunately, it was a nice day. It was about 70, so it wasn't bad to have to stand in the line outside. And the line moved rather quickly. I think all told, it was about 20 minutes, so it wasn't horrible. Anyway, there was some people in front of us, older people, and three of them were together. All right, it was a husband, wife, and then I think the other lady was a friend of theirs, if I remember right. And then there was another gentleman who we thought was with them, but come to find out he wasn't. He was by himself. He just happened to be in line and had started a conversation with them, but they were talking so much, I thought, well, they must all be together. They were not. So anyway, we get through the line. We get up to where we're about to order. Like I said, the three people that were together, they paid and went in, were seated. So that's when we figured out, oh, this guy's by himself. So in my mind, I'm thinking, man, I feel badly. This guy's here by himself. He's an older gentleman. So I thought about, like, well, we've been talking to him because we were talking in line with them as well. Maybe we could ask him if he wants to sit with us. No big deal. So I was going to discreetly talk it over with my wife first because she's really shy. My wife is really shy. And I knew that she would be hesitant, not because she doesn't care or didn't want to be nice to the guy, but she would be, she would feel uncomfortable. Okay, so, but I wanted to talk it over with her first. So anyway, just as I'm about to talk to her about it, he turns to us and he says, "You two are my guests today. And we're like, how's that? And he's like, "You two are my guests. I'm buying. I'm going to pay for your Thanksgiving dinner." And I was like, "Well, you don't have to do that. I mean, thank you, but you don't have to do that." And he's like, "No, I want to do that. I do that every year," he said. He said he does it every year. He just picks out somebody that, I don't know, whatever, that he enjoyed conversing with, I guess, and offers to buy their dinner. So we thanked him and so he paid for our dinner. And I thought that was really super cool. I mean, really, really nice. Something that, you know, uh, you don't see very often. It doesn't happen very often, unfortunately. Um, but he was a really nice guy. And so, anyway, he pays for himself and for us, and we go through to get seated. And the lady, who was one of the people taking people to their seats, said, "Are the three of you together?" And he kind of turned toward us like, how do I answer this? And I'm like, yes, we are. Because I wasn't going to, even if I didn't already in the back of my mind have it in my head that, let's ask him to sit with us, whether he paid for us or not, just because we know he's by himself. But especially after he paid for our dinner, I wasn't going to just send him off to go sit by himself and then my wife and I, on his dollar, go and enjoy our dinner separately. So I quickly answered yes, the three of us are together, and he appreciated that so much. So the three of us sat down to eat, and we had a great conversation. And my wife and I we're the type where we pray before we eat, no matter where we are. I don't care where we're at. We're grateful and thankful for the food that we have. So once we sat down and we each went up and got our first plate of food, I turned to my wife and to him and I said, well, we pray before we eat. And he's like, oh, good. I was about to say the same thing. So that was great. So we prayed before we ate, and we just had great conversation with this guy. He told us he was in the military for like 30 years. He was in the Navy, and then he worked for TSA for a while, and then he did something else, I think emergency respond type thing. And then he just one day decided he was going to retire. So, I mean, he lived quite the life, and he's traveled a lot. He was telling us about his trips to Tennessee and to Virginia and Washington, D.C., and yeah, it was just great to just sit and just kind of take in all the things that he's done in his life, and just to sit with somebody who says, now I didn't get a chance to ask him about salvation. There was a lot, the place was full. So even conversing was really hard at times because it was kind of loud. And that's my one regret, is I wish we could have had a conversation about salvation. But it just, with the noise, and then we were all coming and going at separate times for our food, it didn't work out. So it's a regret of mine, but sometimes that happens. However, he did say he was a believer. He did say that, that he was a Christian. Now, I don't know, I'm sure he meant that, but was he truly saved? I don't know. We didn't get a chance to get to that point in the conversation. And as we got toward the end of when we were done eating, and it did start to clear out a little bit, he had to leave. He got a phone call, and he's like, well, I got to go meet up with these other people. So by the time it did quiet down enough to where I could have asked him about this, he had to leave. So that was unfortunate. But, those are regrets, definitely. But his name was Dave, and he said he was a Christian, and I'm hoping that he truly, truly is. And at the end, like I said, before he left, he said a prayer, just, it was kind of a closing prayer, so that was cool. But those are, it's just great to sit with someone, and like I said, I don't know for certain if he was saved or not. I hope so. But he professed to be a Christian. He professed to be saved. And we had some good spiritual conversation. And it was just nice to sit and talk with another believer, hopefully. And, the verse that kept coming to my mind, 'tis better to give than to receive. I think it's Acts 20:28. No, I'm mixing that up with a different verse, one of my other favorite verses. Anyway, it's in Acts somewhere. Is it 8:35, maybe? But anyway, it is better to give than to receive. And that was obviously his philosophy. And in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, I hope he didn't feel as though he had to pay for our dinner so that was enticement for us to sit with him, so he didn't have to sit by himself. I didn't want for him to feel that way. So I made sure to thank him, not just for paying for our dinner, but to thank him for his conversation and for sitting with us. Because like I said, in the back of my mind, before I was, I hadn't had a chance to talk to my wife about it, I had already decided we should probably ask this guy to sit with us because he's here by himself. It became obvious once the other three people went and were seated. So I didn't want him to feel as though, well, we only sat with him because he paid for our dinner. It wasn't that. It was nice that he did that, but I really enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed getting to know him. And like I said, that verse came to mind. And that's obviously his philosophy. It's better to give than to receive. He's a person who likes to do for others. He's lived a full life. He's done a lot of traveling. He's probably very successful. He has, he's not, fortunately, one of those people that's struggling in retirement. He's financially well off because it's not entirely cheap to eat at Golden Corral, especially on Thanksgiving. And to pay for 3 people, that adds up. But he wanted to share that, and that was just awesome. So I wanted to make a brief video, and this is pretty brief. It's less than 15 minutes. Just to tell you guys about this awesome experience that we had, this blessing that was bestowed upon us. And like I said, I do regret that we didn't get a chance to talk about salvation. And I wish I would have gotten his number or given him my number. And here's the thing, I always have, I don't have them right next to me now. I got a new printer. So where I usually keep my witnessing cards are actually over here now. And the cats are sleeping on them because they're in a basket. Anyway, but I'm so accustomed to us usually taking my car when we go to Pensacola, and I have a stack of gospel tracts, and I just grab a few, put them in my pocket, and then we go into wherever we're going. But we took my wife's car instead, and I don't have any in her car. So I didn't have any of my gospel tracts with me, so I couldn't even give him one of those. Another regret. Do you see how even as much as I always am talking to you about it, I'm not perfect either. I sometimes forget. I sometimes miss an opportunity. That's why it's so important. I have to be vigilant at all times to be ready to give our story, our experiences, our witness to that blessing, to that glorious hope that we have. So that's my regret. But hopefully, when he said he's a Christian, hopefully that meant that he trusted on the death, burial, and resurrection, that he's saved through faith in the blood. I'm praying for that. And I will be better about keeping gospel tracts nearby at all times. I need to put some in my wife's car, and I need to keep some right on this table so that when we leave, I grab my wallet and the gospel tracts are right there. That was my fault, my error. And I just hope that he truly is saved. Because if not, then at the Great White Throne Judgment, I'm going to remember I sat there with Dave and I didn't have a card with me to give to him. And that's going to be a tough one. And that's what I'm talking about, guys. That's what I'm talking about when I say be ready. Be ready to hand out a card, to be ready to witness, etc. And sometimes we miss an opportunity, and I missed one then. And I feel really, really badly about it. It wasn't entirely my fault. Like I said, it was a bit loud in there. But still, if I would have had that card, I could have at least slipped that to him. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a regret. I just pray that he truly is saved. If not, I pray that he truly does get saved. And I'm thinking about doing this. He was friends with a couple of the waitresses there at Golden Corral. Now, we go to Golden Corral every so often. And I remember those 2 waitresses, and when I see them again, I'm going to ask them, hey, can you somehow get me in contact with Dave? I can give you my number or ask him for his to give to me, whatever it may be, and I want to get him on the phone and go through the gospel with him. That's how determined I am. So next time we go to Golden Corral, I'm gonna hunt down one of those 2 waitresses and get his information or pass my information to him, because it's important to me. I don't want to have that regret forever. So anyway, guys, be ready. Always be ready. And I'm talking to myself as well. But it was still a blessing. It was still a great time, great dinner. and great conversation. And that's just God bringing people together, God giving us opportunities, God giving us blessings. And I'm grateful. I'm thankful for that. That's a great Thanksgiving story. So anyway, guys, I'll wrap it up with that. The next video premieres tomorrow, which is the 30th. Wow, we're at the end of November already. The 30th, and I think the one premiering tomorrow is Daniel 70 Weeks, Part 1, I think, if I remember right. So be sure to tune in for that. I'm going to post this immediately, so it goes up today, Saturday the 29th. Yeah, just keep watching the channel, guys, and follow along with that series that I've been doing. It'll be wrapping up with the next one that I filmed, which is the Two Witnesses. And then also follow along our verse by verse through Acts and through 1 Timothy. And then we'll start 2 Timothy here before too long. Anyway, another thing too, another prayer request. If some of you probably also watch Robert Breaker, if so, then you kind of know his situation. For those that have not yet gone to his channel, one, I encourage you to do so, but also just keep the Breakers in prayer. They have some different things going on right now that could really use some prayer. All right, and then also a guy I go to church with, his name's Joseph. He has a small family, his wife, and they have a little baby. All right, well, not so much a baby anymore. He's walking and almost talking now. But anyway, pray for them too. Pray for them as well. And just pray for the entire congregation that we have. There's different people dealing with different things. You know, each Sunday, we start the service off with me playing guitar and leading us in a couple of hymns. And then Brother Breaker comes up and he'll ask for praise reports and prayer requests. All right. And then he goes into whatever the sermon is for that day. But I like that he does that, the prayer requests and the praise reports, because it gives us all an opportunity to pray for those in our congregation, pray for others, even people that aren't in our congregation. So, and I'm passing that along to you too. Just pray, lift people up. Excuse me. All right. So anyway, guys, I went past 15 minutes. I thought I was going to wrap it up, but that's how it goes. Oh, today, no soda today. Lemon True. Good stuff. Good stuff. Nothing artificial. Only 1 gram of sugar. Mostly it's sweetened with stevia, which is good for you so long as you get the right kind. And they use the right kind. And it's rather inexpensive too. I really enjoy it. So that's what I'm drinking today. I had coffee earlier. Not that you care, but I did. I had coffee earlier. All right, guys. Look, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope that you and yours are doing well. If you have prayer request or a praise report, you know what to do. Send it to me. I'll mention it. I'll lift up in prayer. Absolutely. The next major holiday coming up is Christmas. I know some people don't celebrate Christmas. Even saved people have, take issue with Christmas, and that's fine if that's what they believe and whatever else. I do. We do. We celebrate Christmas, not the pagan aspects, but the celebrating of the birth of Jesus. Yes, I know he wasn't born in December. I get all that, but we don't know exactly the day and time that Jesus was born. So just pick a day, and that's the one I choose. So, anyway, for those of you that do celebrate Christmas, hey, we're almost there. We're almost there. I love Christmas. I love Christmas movies. My wife and I do a Christmas movie marathon every year, and we watch one Christmas movie a week. And I have so many Christmas movies, mostly the old classics. I don't like the new Hallmark garbage, but the classics and some newer ones. But I have so many that we have to start in April. We have to start in April in order to get all of them done by the time the week of Christmas comes along. So, and each year I add more. I keep adding more Christmas movies because I love them so much. So this year I think we're going to have to start in March because I've picked up a couple of more. So starting in March, we'll start our Christmas movie marathon right through the week of Christmas in December. So for those of us that do celebrate Christmas, I tell you, it's a lot of fun. I love it. I love Christmas, the lights and just the festive atmosphere, and people just seem to be happy and in better moods, and it's a perfect opportunity to witness. Perfect opportunity to witness, because people are more receptive at that point. People who never go to church will go to church on Easter and Christmas. Okay, so use that to your advantage. They're a little more open to hearing that stuff for whatever reason around Easter and around Christmas, especially Christmas. So jump on that. Jump on that. Get someone to go to church. Give them a tract. Do something. But yeah, just have fun. And hey, Merry Christmas. It's early, but hey, we're almost there, and I can't wait. And if you have any ideas for Christmas movies, let me know. I have a whole bunch, so you might list some that I already have, but perhaps somebody knows of some that I haven't come across yet. So, like I said, I don't care about the Hallmark ones. The newer ones, you can throw them out there. Some of them are all right, but I really love the old classic ones from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, early 60s. Those are the ones, man. White Christmas, Holiday Inn, It's a Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, Christmas in July. That's the one that we're watching this coming week. So I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, guys, I'm off on another rabbit trail. Let me wrap this thing up. You guys take care, and God bless.